Somebody told me about this yesterday, and they said it was a Chicago police officer that died and got shot, and that I needed to talk about it. So I'm going to talk about it. We also got to get into Antoine Massey because I heard that he posted another Instagram picture. All right. So again, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get to it.
We are following breaking news. A Chicago police officer shot and killed late last night. In the last hour, a procession escorted the officer's body to the medical examiner's office. We've now learned that officer was a 36-year-old mother and was a 4-year veteran of the force. Superintendent Larry Snelling described her as vibrant and fearless.
We turn now to our Darius Johnson, who's live outside the 6th District Police Station with the very latest on this. Darius.
Hey there, ladies. Good morning to you. This is where that fallen officer worked for the past 4 years, right here, the 6th District at 78th and Halsted. She was well known among her team, and this morning, the department and those here at the 6th District are now mourning. Overnight, Superintendent Larry Snelling spoke about her, saying she showed up every day, hardworking, bold, and dedicated to protecting others. Take a look at this video. It was around 9:50 last night when Chicago police made an investigatory stop at 82nd and Drexel in the Chatham neighborhood. Officers believe this suspect was armed. When they approached, the suspect ran into a nearby apartment. Once officers got inside, police say they were confronted by a second person pointing a rifle at them. During that, an officer fired their weapon, and that's when the 36-year-old female officer was shot. Fellow officers put her in a patrol car and rushed her to the hospital. But on the way, that vehicle caught fire due to a mechanical issue. She was then moved to another vehicle and taken to the University of Chicago Medical Center, where sadly she died. Outside the hospital just before 3 o'clock this morning, Mayor Brandon Johnson and Superintendent Larry Snelling spoke about her life and her sacrifice. She leaves behind a family, friends, and a young child.
It's a brutal thing to know that your offspring, because to a parent, no matter how old your children get, they're still always your children. And for a mother to lose her daughter like that, knowing that she was trying to do the right thing every single day, that she was protecting lives, that she was a hero, and she lost her life tragically, doing the job that she loved.
Chicago police say there are several people in custody this morning. One of those people believed to be the person who was inside the apartment with that rifle confronting officers. Detectives tell us they are still working to confirm exactly who fired that deadly shot that killed this female officer. 3 weapons were recovered at the scene, and in the meantime, Chicago police tell us they are still investigating this morning after this incident happened at 10 o'clock last night. One thing that they are still waiting on, they're still waiting to get a search warrant to get inside that apartment to be able to conduct and gather more evidence. Of course, this is a developing story. This is a breaking story. We're going to continue to be on this throughout the day as we continue to learn more about this female officer, as well as what exactly led to her final call. And ladies, I just have to say, this is another sad loss for the 6th District after they have lost an officer just in the last year.
So who told me that Chicago's crime was down? Who told me that Chicago's crime was down? Because y'all keep telling me that, oh no, Brandon Johnson reported that the numbers was down. No, the crime is being underreported. They still in there with rifles. They still in there with switches. They still in there doing everything that they want to do. And now it's the women that's died. This is not the first Chicago police officer that's a woman that died on Brandon Johnson's watch. Police officers suffer casualties, maiming, and death more than the actual civilians they police. But we'll sit here and create this narrative and say, no. Police officers, they're so evil. They're the ones that are taking over our communities. They are the ones that getting their head blown off And now that we have diversity, equity, and inclusion, now that we've allowed women to step into the roles of men because they wanted to do these jobs, now that they said that they just as good as us, and I'm not saying this as a result of her dying, but I am saying this as a result of the culture. Now there are 36-year-old women with children getting their heads chopped off, getting their heads blown off on the south side of Chicago. See, they're not going to tell you that on the news. They're not going to have that conversation because they got to be politically correct. I don't give a fuck. I'm not going to say nothing that I don't mean, and I mean everything that I said. Women are getting their heads cracked, their chest cavities with whole bullet holes going through them. Because they don't have the support of our legislature, right? They don't have the support of their own city, their own mayors. They're understaffed, over 2,000 police officers. Their budgets are shot. It's a sanctuary city. They give validation to the criminals and try to do preventative services instead of going in there, busting heads, taking names, and having and requiring for people to snitch on the people that's doing the worst in the community. No, but they going in there with their hair in the bun. They do their training. They trying to figure it out. And now they out here getting their heads cracked in. And it's casualty after casualty after casualty. Bro, I've done more stories on police officers that are dying in Chicago than anywhere else in the United States of America over the time that I've had the Millionaire Morning Show. I've done more stories of police officers dying. See, and let me tell you something else. They're not going to have this conversation. Nobody is, look, if it was a white cop that killed a black man on the south side of Chicago in the exact same way, we would have a protest. If it was a white cop that had took out a black man, we would be protesting. We don't even give a fuck about women no more. We don't care about women anymore. We don't care about no women. We don't care about none of that. Women police officer, oh, she just a cop like everybody else now. We don't care. We don't care nothing about them. You know why? Because once you hate one group, then everybody is a part of the narrative. Everybody fit the description. This is a mother that probably shouldn't even have been out there in the first place. Gone forever. Because you had a YN, and I guarantee you, let's find out. Let's see if we can figure out who the suspect is. Let's go ahead and get into this. Let's deep dive.
Chicago police say they have several people in custody after one of their own officers was shot and killed. Investigators say their 6th District tactical team was out patrolling right before 10 o'clock last night when the shooting took place.
10-1, 82nd and 10-1, 82nd and Drexel, shots fired at the police. All units head over there. 82nd and Drexel, 10-1, shots fired at the police.
Police say officers tried to stop a person near 82nd and Drexel who was believed to be armed. That's when the suspect ran off into a nearby building. Officers say they chased the suspect into the building where they were confronted by another person who was armed, and then shots were fired. Superintendent Snelling gave an update on the shooting investigation.
At some point, the officer discharged a weapon. Our officer was struck. She was then transported by assisting units to the hospital here, where she later succumbed to her wounds.
We know a second officer was also injured in the wrist and was taken to the hospital. That officer is expected to be okay. Investigators also say that they found 3 guns at the scene. Once again, police are confirming that they have multiple people in custody. That is the latest outside of Police District 6. Lisette Nunez, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Lisette, appreciate it. Thank you. There was a police procession to the medical examiner's office about an hour ago.
Christian Picos is there with more on this story. Christian.
Tanya and Troll, Chicago Police Superintendent Larry Snelling says the fallen 6th District police officer had been with the department for 4 years and was a mother to a young daughter. He says she worked tirelessly to keep Chicago safe. Now, earlier this morning, a massive and somber Chicago police procession transported the fallen officer from the hospital where she was taken after she was shot to the Cook County Medical Examiner's office. You can see countless Chicago police squad cars with their blue lights on surrounding the medical examiner's office. Officers could also be seen comforting one another during this very difficult time. Superintendent Snelling says earlier this morning he shared more about this fallen officer.
She was a mom. She was a mom. A young officer, 36 years old, and 4 years on the job, who was working hard, working extremely hard in the 6th District to get guns off the street, to save lives.
Back here live outside of the medical examiner's office this morning, Snelling also says the department has to be strong for this fallen officer's family as these officers continue to patrol Chicago.
I think they should let them police themselves. That's what I think should happen.